Hi everyone. Voice crossing was a fairly common element in Renaissance music and could be used for stylistic or expressive purposes, to avoid forbidden consecutives, or to ameliorate part writing. In this bar by Palestrina, for example, the crossing between the alto and tenor parts avoids potential consecutive fifths formed if the alto and not the tenor ascended to C instead of leaping down to G. The consecutives are also avoided by having the bass's E note lengthened so that the F occurs as an eighth note. By giving the C note to the tenors also means that Palestrina has formed one of the characteristic lines typically present at a cadence or when two chords a fifth apart are used. This line moves between mode degrees 1 and 7 with a return to 1, which can also be seen here at the work's final cadence. In both uses also, the initial C note is held to create a characteristic 4-3 suspension over the bass's G notes, thereby delaying the B. Crossing the parts here also leaves space for the tenors, who would have otherwise been restricted in their movement between the continuation of the bass and alto lines. Palestrina here uses an octave leap to restore the altos to their original position above the tenors and also to move them back into a more favourable part of their vocal range. An octave leap is also used in the soprano and bass parts, although only in the soprano part is it again used to restore their position here back above the altos, who for reasons I'll discuss soon have crossed above. Here also, with their octave leap, the altos briefly cross above the sopranos and both parts sing the same G note before both then use a descending tetrachord between the notes G and D. Rhythmically, the alto and soprano's tetrachords are identical and in both locations span alternating G and C major harmonies. The C major harmony is continued by the octave C note leap in the bass, which also descends using a tetrachord, this time between the notes C and G. The soprano's octave leap occurs over the G major harmony, where they sing its fifth degree D. From the final D note of the alto's tetrachord, they leap a fourth to G, briefly crossing above the soprano part. The D note, however, here occurs over C major harmony, and the leap therefore occurs from a dissonance, an unusual occurrence in Renaissance music. Several factors here can perhaps explain Palestrina's inclusion of this leap. The alto's tetrachord descent is moving towards the C, already being sung by both the tenor and bass parts. To continue the alto line onto C before leaping therefore would mean 3 of the 4 voices would be singing the same unison C note. The E and D notes of the alto's tetrachord move in thirds with the G and F notes of the soprano's tetrachord, thereby giving some consonant support to the D. Swapping the sopranos and altos lines would create hidden fifths if the move to G occurred on quarter note beat 4, and orally the thirds between the sopranos and altos tetrachords do continue onto the beginning of quarter note beat 3, thereby concealing the leap. Here Palestrina may have simply crossed the tenor part below the basses to create more interest in the tenor's line, who would have otherwise essentially been singing repeated C notes. The tenor's part crossing, however, also changes the first inversion G major chord to root position, thereby giving greater stability to this G chord without disrupting the bass's tetrachord. I hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. See you next time.